You know, I was really kind of struggling with depression, anxiety, a lot of ideation. And so I thought, what do I have to lose? I think I should try ayahuasca. That was 5 years ago. After that, my whole life really shifted and changed after I made that choice. I'm the patient where I do what the doctor says. I go in and like, here, take this med, take this. And I was doing that, but it wasn't helping, you know? So then I in turn had to tap into my own reserves and be my own doctor, my own guru. But at that time, I wouldn't have called it that. I was just at the end of my rope trying to figure out like what the hell's happening. Why do I feel miserable? Why don't I want to wake up in the morning? And I had 3 daughters who were watching, you know, watching me try to navigate being a mom, but being depressed and all these things. So I just felt like, what do I have to lose? I started going on YouTube like everybody does, right? And yeah, hey,
hello.
YouTube.
Welcome to this video. I'm Sammy. I'm here with Coeur today.
Yes.
And we're talking about integrating spiritual and medicine journey experiences.
That Tuesday, I'm like researching. By Friday, I go to a Starbucks, right? And there's this girl and I'm just like, oh my God, I love your bag. It's super cute. And she's just like, oh yeah, thank you. I got it here. And I also just finished ayahuasca 2 days ago. And that was, yeah, it just lined up. I always say ceremony starts before you even sit with the medicine. These things that happen that open up. And so the universe brought this woman who was just like, yeah, this is where I went. You can go.
Oh my gosh. Here's the instructions on how here's your next step.
Exactly.
Basically,
yeah.
providing you that.
You have this heart's desire, which, you know, spirit gives to you. And then everything comes together as it needs to.
It's incredible. Yeah. Like that's how I call the call. What's the call? And if I know that it's supposed to happen or that it's in my highest to happen, that there's a, you know, an order to things happening that are beyond my mind's control, that line up, that allow me to then find my way into that path.
Yeah. We come from a culture where everything is mental, you know, everything we analyze, we strategize, logic, you know, all that, the dots, you know, right? But that's not how spirit in that world works.
You had that ceremony. And then what happened? What shifted?
Yeah. I think one of the biggest things these medicines do, because they're so intelligent, starting to see how, one, everything's connected, that part. Everything is connected. Just coming back to that realization that I'm not separate from everything around me, right? And that everything has a pattern and a rhythm and an order. It's just us to like pay attention to it. And I'm not even going to say that it was a cure-all. It was a remover of a veil that had been there that I didn't know was there.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. I didn't even know that this part of me was accessible, that it even existed. And yet this ceremony was allowing me to see through that.
Yeah, definitely. Everybody says to create an intention before you go into the medicine, which is great and amazing. And I can have the intention, and Mama Aya or some of these other medicines have a totally different you know, plan.
We see you, my dear, and here's what you actually need.
Right. And so like it's a deepening into the surrender of like, okay, I'm going. So when I went, I knew like I wanted to get rid of the depression and reduce the anxiety, but I also wanted to know who my grandmother was, because my mother was adopted at 8 years old and she left Haiti and never went back. And so I never got to meet my grandparents. That was part of it. I was like, I want to know who she was. I didn't get any of that. But what I did get was many insights into who I have been, many past life things. And and just different things reminding me of where I've come from and power that we all have, but we forget. It was just a lot of reminders of who I am, and to remember on this earth plane, like, do you remember who you are, girl? You need to remember.
And that's not something you would have asked for. You wouldn't have known to ask for it.
Right.
There's different levels of consent, you know, especially in the plants. Like this is kind of a disclaimer too. If you're going into ceremony with plants, they don't operate with our consent that's here. They operate with a deeper layer of consent that can be really intense.
Yeah. part of what I do too is intergenerational trauma. And what better way than to use these medicines to go in to different timelines and heal these things that we don't even know that are holding us hostage.
How could we?
How could we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There has to be some kind of deepening, some kind of way. And this medicine is one way to. So that was a huge shift for you, having that ceremony. What was your integration experience, or what wasn't it, or what did you want it to be?
Yeah. In the medicine community, you do usually feel tribe, you feel home, you found like your people, you know, and which feels amazing. But then in turn, it's time to go back home to the reality that you had before you had this new awareness. It was hard. It was very hard. My family, they're of Haitian descent. And so Catholicism and Christianity, which is fine, you know, that's just what I grew up with. So when I got back home, my mom was just like, oh yeah, no crystals, no sage, no Aya. That's the devil. We're not doing that. Take that shit back where you came from. Because in our culture, there is a lot of voodoo. There's a lot of things like that. For her, she's afraid of that. Everything is polar in our reality. So if people are practicing that, maybe it's in the light or it's in the dark. You know, it's always to choose what you're going to do. So for her, she only saw one aspect. When she sees me, she's just like, oh my God, that girl, you know? So I had to, you know, make peace with that. So that was hard. And then just trying to navigate the newness of my new way of thinking and my old reality. I did it in Orlando in Florida. And so there were people that were there that I could reach out to. I think it's important to kind of have a community of people like all the time that you could be like, hey, I'm struggling with this, and because it could be hard.
Yeah, having this intense, expansive, I'm this?
Right. Right.
And then coming home and
not
having people who are able to listen and hold space and just be with you and not try to like put things on you and much less, no, that's wrong what you did and you're wrong for doing it.
And gratefully, like, even though like I was getting polar responses from the community I sat with and then my mom, I did know on a foundational level that it was just fear, that she was just afraid and didn't have the context to like really understand what I had done. But for me, after that, I was just like, oh yeah, I knew that I'm more than just this body, that I'm the spirit being. And like, while it stung, it also felt right.
Yeah, expanded into more truth of what you what we are, what this is.
Yeah.
And to me, that's like a prequel, like an individual. You had that experience. We've had experiences like this where we get a glimpse of this is what I am really. And what if all the humans are waking up in our own way?
Yeah.
Not everyone has to take ayahuasca or do any specific thing or be a Christian or be a
Yeah.
But there's a deeper truth that those are pathways to open the consciousness of us to receive and then to integrate, right? So that we can live our lives in that energy of interconnectedness.
Yeah, because our current reality is not interconnected, you know, at all. Oh, you're a Democrat or you're this or you're that. It's very separation, which is so counter to what source is. And then I start to realize that when I have encounters with other humans, I'm just looking at myself, you know?
Speaking of encounters with ourselves. Hi, doggo.
Hi.
Hi. Oh, so excited. And I just want to say too, the whole ayahuasca and making synchronicities.
Sure.
So this is that in action, because I didn't know we were going to talk about this at all.
Yeah.
And I just said yes in myself, 99% to doing a ceremony in 3 weeks from now.
Okay.
That I've been struggling with in a way to like get peace with that.
Okay.
And so it just keeps coming around. Just oh my God, yeah.
It's the beauty that you're paying attention, that you can catch the things as they're coming, because they're always coming. It's just, is our level of awareness able to capture like, oh, the dog came, what does that mean, or what does this mean, you know?
Yeah. Oh, what does that bring me in for me? What is that? Yeah, and can I play with that? And, and also not take it as seriously too.
So can I ask you, so what was the call or the draw, like, okay, now's the time to sit with this medicine?
I've done it 3 times. First time was way back in 2010. That was that, like you said, that opened up things that I didn't know needed to be opened in ways that I didn't know could be possibly opened. But the last one was pretty traumatizing in a way because of the way the container was held. I didn't trust. I realized after it was too late that the facilitator was not prepared to do this. She had been holding these ceremonies and saying it's just love and light, you know, and she wasn't able to deal with the intensity that happens to me.
Wow.
And she was actually terrified.
Wow.
I moved through my own stuff. Then I was like, oh, I'm fine. And then she was coming to me like, oh my God, like, you need to, like,
wow,
chest breathing. And
yeah, that's not what you need.
No,
that is not what you need. How about we give this disclaimer to everybody on YouTube, like the importance of who you sit with, how we do it now and what it looked like many, many, many ages ago. The shaman went in and did the medicine on behalf of the people versus all these people under altered states of reality with all their traumas and all their stuff. And then you have somebody who can't handle what you're moving through. Oh, yeah. So make sure you find people that you trust and
deeply trust. Yeah. Someone else told me, look into your shaman's eyes and just see, like, do I trust you? Do I trust you with my life? And oftentimes it's these people who have grown up with the medicine, who are in the jungle. And sometimes there's a special person who might be American or whatever, another country, who has a deep, deep soul level connection. And they were called in a very specific way. And that's a shaman or that's a person that I trust can hold. But there's so many deep experiences that can be had if I'm just like, I'm just gonna hold ceremonies for you and I don't know what to do when this person is like, that can be really messy and traumatizing. So yes, please be discerning.
Yes. One of the things that I do as well, it's called Moon Aiki. So it's womb work. And so literally, you know, you're calling in the matriarchal people in your family, and for men too, because you have an energetic womb, right? And so just think of all these people, like literally we have like 14 generations of trauma sometimes in our own body. That's not mine, it's my grandmother's great grandmother's, you know, back and back and back. So I'm sitting in ceremony, not just by myself, but all these people that come, but you know, so it is like essential that you know who you're sitting with, that the container is tight.
Yeah, it's not just the trauma of this lifetime per se. It's not just the intensity of this lifetime, just like you're saying, because I've had loving parents and yes, I've definitely, like all of us, we all have trauma just from the level of the vibration that we're in and the level of consciousness that we're in. And the stuff that comes up for me in ceremony or in meditation or whatever is way beyond what this body has experienced.
Because you're traversing worlds. You're in altered states, so you might be like 10 timelines back, you know, but your body is still here. And so you want somebody who can be able to traverse with you to help be like, okay, it's time to come back now. You know, if they're grounded enough in this reality to help bring you back. Deep work.
Yes, it's deeper than we understand. That we can like go into like, oh yeah, okay, it's going to be deep. Yeah, it's a new level. It is.
And the level of courage it takes to say, okay, I don't know what is going to happen, but I trust. That takes a lot of courage.
Yeah, I feel that here when you said that.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, what do you do now and how do you help people?
I'm really, really loving bringing ritual and rites of passage back into our world. I mean, we have birthdays, you know, we do that, we get married, things like that, but...
drinking.
Exactly, right? We do that, but like, what are we doing to anchor in you are a man now, or you're a woman, or these things that signify big parts of our lives? Because now that we don't have them, we've lost that. We're now initiated by life.
Right.
The divorce, I lost the job, I'm leaving this partner, so we're initiated that way, which is hard. And you get the lesson, but it'd be nicer and beautiful if we came together as tribe and community.
As community,
right?
As tribe, and we held that.
Yeah, because that's how we heal. You know, that's how we heal when we come together. So I do grief circles for people, and I use the elements because the elements help you make peace with the thing in a very tangible way. Water signifies the collective tears. The fire is the spirit that we both share, this Holy Spirit. Just having the different elements to make peace with, whether it's somebody who passed away or, man, I just lost my job. It doesn't matter. Grief is grief, and we need to allow it to pass through us instead of holding on to it the way we do in our culture.
Which is what we go to parties and I'm all good. Drink. How are you? Yeah, I'm good too. I just love grief ceremony. I love that you're even saying that that's a word, that's a thing that's happening in the world.
Yeah.
Grief, intentionally opening those places and having a space to do that.
Yeah, definitely. And then while you're doing it, you're held by the people around you. you know?
There's this beginning phase in the journey of, I know there's something more and I want it.
Yeah.
And then there's the moment of realizing, it becomes conscious, I want this, I want to grow. And then maybe ayahuasca, maybe some medicine journey, maybe to meet some people, maybe whatever it is, wherever it goes. And then having an experience, it's so expansive that I feel myself connected. I don't just think about it, I'm it.
Yeah.
In whatever way that means.
Yeah.
And then the next phase of that would be to connect with community, connect and integrate that experience in a way that is heartfelt and real. Yeah. Being honest with each other.
Yeah.
And then, repeat or whatever, but that opens up the whole doorway to this magical life, to the magical Sammy, the magical core that can follow our intuition and even know what our intuition is and then follow the mystery path. And I had no idea that could even happen, but it did. And I just said yes, and I don't know why, but I know I had to.
Right. Because those are the moments that help solidify you when you're in the mundane. And you're like, oh my God, this is so boring. Nothing's happening. I have to go pay the bills and go to work and do this, blah, 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 blah. It's the in-between, those magical moments of the synchronicity and the connecting. And those moments, like you said, they're beautiful. I live for synchronicity. Like it's what gets me through.
Because the mundane does come back.
I mean, it's living. For me, I was like busy getting the degree, and then like I have 3 daughters and like, the doing. In between that, all of that doing, there's these magical moments of like, thank you, to remind you like, oh, okay, you're in alignment.
It's like a little flicker back into, oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember, right?
Yeah. Oh,
yeah. We talk about like the self-care, right? And people are like, oh, I'm gonna go get my hair done, my nails done, get a massage. Those are great. I'm not bashing them. I love them. And there's layers and there's this deepening, like self-care too, is I'm gonna show up to my practice every morning. Because in the middle of the mundane, that's kind of what gets me to the magical, because I've poured into myself, maybe with the breath work or the yoga or whatever it is, it's important, that aspect.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's like the conscious mind saying, okay, I know that this magical part of me wants to be remembered, and that's actually the best thing I can do for myself and loving myself. So what can I put in place that will help that happen? The masculine saying, I'm going to make a container for myself and a structure for myself. Every day or every other week, I'm going to do this and take a journal or something and just like tap in.
Yeah.
And then the feminine energies in that space can flow, and that's the magic coming through.
It is. We see the outward masculine and the feminine, but the masculine and feminine within, right? Yes. And how I allow the masculine to rest so that the feminine can take over, and so that they're then in union and they work well together.
The inner marriage.
The inner marriage, right? Before I even have that with a partner or a friend, like right here, this right here will ensure that my partnerships are like on point. If that person has done their work too, Yeah. So big. Yeah.
My leg's going numb, so that's telling me that we're coming to a close. I just want to keep going though.
Yeah.
Curious how people can connect with you.
Yeah, definitely. My business is called the Medicine Wheel Collective. I feel like I'm like a spiritual midwife. We're going to midwife your spirit. And it's not me doing it. I just open the door for you to do your own work, So it's like shadow work, it's herbs, it's health and wellness, it's integration, it's therapy, it's trauma-based, healing, things like that. So it's a collective of everything. That's why it's the Medicine Wheel Collective. And so you can find me on IG, the Medicine Wheel Collective.
It's amazing, Please check that out. I feel so excited by this conversation, genuinely. So it flowed, it felt so easy.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for having me on your show.
Yeah, we did it. We did a show.